Yo, what is up, Crockxen clan members, Pokemon fans, and others who may have stumbled upon this video? I'm SoresanCrockxen, and today we're doing Pokemon X and Y Episode 4 English dub review for you guys. My hair is messed up. I just woke up before the episode, so now before we get started, I'm gonna leave you guys two links in the description. There are two websites where you can watch the episodes online in case you didn't watch it on TV like I did, because you're not totally crazy and decide to wake up early on a Saturday morning. Um, Now I don't know. I know for a fact that one of them, which is the first one I'm gonna put, will have the episode. I just can't tell you what time, because they're a little weird on that. The other one, I don't know about it. No, I just barely found it out. And I don't use the site, so I don't know how their timing thing works. But yeah, so I'll leave that down below. But anyways, let's get started with the episode. So today's episode, we get to see Dedenne again, because even though I said Dedenne, it's Dedenne, and it's gonna be Dedenne for the rest of its life. Um, so it shows up again, and then it's like try to catch it time, you know. But it runs away. I don't know what the heck. There was a lot of holes in some weird places. There was a lot of weird connecting tunnels that totally did not make sense. This thing is a rat, so I don't know. Maybe that's what they were going with. But this thing can't no dig, so I don't know what that was about. Um, but anyways, it's more like Pikachu trying to get it, and then Bunnelby trying to get it, and they're trying to go on the ground, and Pikachu finds it and kind of tackles it down, and then if we fall through they were inside the hole, right? But somehow the layer that they were on was above another one, and I don't know what kind of logic made them fall into that other one, because they were literally on flat ground. Um, and they don't weigh a lot, so I don't know what the heck caused that thing to cave. The point is, they fell and then they were rolling down and they fell off a cliff and then they were like, "What the heck?" I was like, "Hello? Where did this come from? Like, how do you?" I didn't even understand it. But they were just like there, and then Pikachu, like the Danny tries to run away, and then Pikachu goes after it, and he's like trying to, because they talk via electricity. Apparently, you know, the Danny's antennas on its cheeks kind of like communicated with Pikachu, and then we had Jesse James and Meowth over there, spying on them, like, oh, I'm watching you. And then they started talking, or James has, I don't know what the heck that is. It's like I'm gonna say it's their Pokédex because it's kind of like what it is. It's well, actually, you can compare it to old James's old school like freaking data cards that he used to carry around back in the previous generations. And he would be like looking through them. Oh, it's this one. um, so that was there. And then they were like, "Meow, translate what they're saying," because they're talking. They're actually talking. And he's like, "I can't translate electricity language," which actually confused me because back in the second movie, when Pikachu was with Zapdos and they were communicating, Meowth translated just fine. So I don't know what the heck that was about. Then again, that was a older generation, you know, freaking back in the day. Um, but so they decide to go capture them. And then they're walking around. Pikachu, it was like I don't know, like a big brother moment. With the Dane, like just took care of it and made sure it was okay. There's a lot of cool stuff that was going on there. Um, I believe he gave him an Aspear berry when he was hungry, and then Team Rocket. I gotta say, I like how their weapons or their gadgets work now. It's freaking cube, and then they throw it, and then they were throwing electrical nets at them, and then they started dodging, and then they kept throwing it at him, and then they were dodging and crazy, and Pikachu turns around, freaking thunderbolts, and then James is like, "Go, Papa Fett, you know what to do," and then Wafei goes out with those miracle, and Jesse's like this, like, but reinforcing the mirror code. I was like, what the heck? But it was so funny. And then Reflexion and Pikachu, like they dodge it, like and they continue to run away. And then they're like chasing. They're like, "Come on, give us a break. Are you ever gonna get tired?" They chase them to a cliff. And they're like climbing up, and then James finally decides to use his Inkay and then brings it out. Um, and then they're chasing them, and then it uses tackle, and then it gets hit and knocked away, and then Pikachu goes to it, and then he comes out with freaking Psybeam, which I gotta say it looks pretty cool in this generation. He uses Psybeam, they freaking destroys the area where they're at, and they fall in the water, and Pikachu grabs it to make sure it's okay, and they fall in the water, and then James comes out and uses freaking another gadget that summons a raft, and I'm like, seriously, this is awesome. And they go in there, and they find Pikachu, and then he's with the Dana, and they already are like on the shore thing. Like it was a little farther away, but they made it to the shoreline, and then they're like, okay, so we gotta stop, and then but apparently they couldn't for some reason, and then they ended up flying off because that's Team Rocket's gimmick. Um, and the Dana is like all hurt and stuff, and then like Pikachu's like, oh no, and then Fletchling shows up, and he's like, oh, they're over here, and they get there. Fletchling looks adorable. I'm sorry, but I mean, I really like Fletchling. It is adorable. So they go and they try to uh, Clement, I told you guys, that's gonna be his catchphrase. The future is now, thanks to science, and then he brings out an invention and then calls it, Clement's newest invention, blah 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 blah. Its name. Um, he brings out this weird thing and it has like this little plate, and then like he tells him it's to regenerate electricity because the Dene was hurt and it was kind of like passed out, and then he loses. Like I like this whole sciencey gimmick stuff, and you know how he brings out that thing and he like rubs it against his underpit, his armpit, and it shows this static electricity. He starts explaining all this stuff, and I'm like, yep, I know, yep, I get it. And then he puts it in the machine again, and he turns it on, and it starts producing electricity, and then recharges the Dene, and then it's like, yeah, I'm back as normal. Like gets up and stuff. Um, and then they're like, okay, you can stop the machine. And he's like, I can't. I broke the handle. And I'm like, what? If this is, I mean, I think it's funny for now, but I think that if they overuse that gimmick, it's gonna get really old really fast. Um, I hope that at least one of his inventions doesn't freaking explode in the middle of it. Um, and then so then Team Rocket shows up again, and it's gonna be a battle, and then stupid computer, Clement decides to be all like, "What's up?" And then I'm gonna command the Dane, and then goes for tackle, and then James with his NK. We finally get to see foul play, which I gotta admit looks pretty regular. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Circle Throw in Gen 5, but it's kind of weird. I don't know how that thing works now in the anime. We'll just have to see. But he uses foul play, and then it goes crashing down, and freaking Psybeam nonsense. Then it's like dodging like a boss, and he goes for a nuzzle, which I think looks pretty cool. In the anime, he strikes the thing, and then he gets paralyzed because it's 100% chance of paralysis. Um, and then it's like a team up. Pikachu shows up right next to the Dene, and then the Dene sends static electricity towards Pikachu, and they're like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then Ash like Thunderbolt, and Clement's like Thundershock, and just the way that they did it was so adorable. They freaking rubbed their cheeks against each other and just fired away. Now, of course, since they are different moves, you actually saw the differentiates between the colors. And you saw it go all cool, and then it hits NK, and NK explodes, and it goes flying and destroys the balloon, and then they explode, and then go flying off like they always do. But again, that was the moment. That was the moment right there. And then it decides to go with them, and then Clement catches it and then brings it out to give it to Bonnie, and she's all petting it and all nice. Um, and falls asleep. She puts it in her bag, and they're like, "Yay!" Um, so yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. And then they are off on their next adventure. Now, I know I did not talk about Serena in the beginning. I mean, it's pretty obvious. She picked Fennekin, right? You know, it was the most obvious choice. Um, Especially if I mean, if you've seen the sub, it's obvious. But I mean, it was gonna be. I think there was rumors about it before the show even started that she was gonna get Finnegan. And it actually made a lot of sense that she got Finnegan. Um, so then that happened, and then you know the I think they're gonna. I hope they don't do this a lot because it kind of cuts off. It's like two stories in one episode, so it's weird because the second story doesn't get a lot of screen time because it's all about Ash, you know. So it right after you cut off from the main story, you have this Serena like short story over here, like cutscene, where she's traveling in the woods, freaking out because she doesn't want to sleep in the forest, which she's gonna have to deal with because that's how they camp out. Anyways, you know, everywhere. I mean, Ash does that a lot. Like for the most part, he usually sleeps in the wilderness, the wild, just outside. Um, and then you know she was Fennekin in her hand, and then they see this thing standing up. She's like trying to find a Pokemon Center. She's like chonking straight. Freaking Vespiquen turns around like, Hurrah! And then he uses a move. I don't know what it was though. Like I don't know what it was. It might have been attack order, but I don't know. It was really weird. Um, and Fennekin's like, no! And Fusion uses Ember, and then the thing explodes, and then Vespiquen goes flying off scared. And there's Joy shows up. She's like, are you guys okay? I heard a scream. He's like, yeah, I was just a little startled. And then, like, they talk about the Pokemon Center, and then they decide to run off towards it with Nurse Joy and tow. Um, and yeah, so they made it. Um, so I mean, like I said, I hope they don't like I don't mind them doing it for now, but they need to not do a lot of those because I mean, if you're gonna do two stories in one episode, make it to where it's even. I mean, so that we don't totally just. I mean, Serena right now is irrelevant, and I know that she does join the group later on because of actual like the sub episodes have shown it, but and she has to. But the point is like she's irrelevant in the beginning, so I mean, there's not really a lot to talk about her because there's not nothing she's really doing. Um, so we'll just have to wait till she actually joins the team, and hopefully we'll actually get to know her story and all that stuff. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the episode. I mean, I did like it. The moments with Pikachu and Dedenne were just adorable. Um, the capture, we got a Dedenne now. Well, whatever. We're just gonna say the Dane. Um, so we have a new member of the family already. Um, Roki did not make an appearance in this episode. So that was a little weird. Then again, it was he wasn't needed, so yeah, I guess that's kind of why. But anyways, that's it for this episode review. Don't forget to leave your comments down below. For what you thought of the episode and stuff like that. Um, like I said, don't forget to check out the description. I'm leaving those two links in there. Um, for the episode online, and I'll leave an annotation for the previous episode review somewhere on the screen, throughout the video, so it's not. I mean, and yeah, that's it for this episode review. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in a future video.